Sharief, how was your Super Bowl week?
It was lovely. I got to see you in person,
You
so
did.
that made the week great.
You had on a stellar suit.
Which day was that?
It was
Tuesday.
it
That
was
was
the reddish
mauve.
peaches, yeah, whichever. What were we calling that?
Mauve.
Mauve.
Mauve. Mauve.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
unfamiliar with that color term, but I saw it, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And for those that are smarter than me and know all their colors, they'll know what you were talking about. But yeah, it looked good. Did you go to the game? What was your assignment there?
Yeah, I went to the game. It was fun, man. Getting up there just to hang out and chill and watch football and do social media stuff for the station and Facebook, Twitter. Use my eyes just to watch football. That was just beautiful. Like masterwork by Kellen Moore, the new Saints head coach.
Wow.
And watch Kendrick Lamar. It was just me enjoying a 3.5-hour beatdown.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game, but I feel like the city of New Orleans put on a bit of a show. I thought the week went really, really well, and hopefully the game's back sooner than the last gap, which was far too long. All right, we buried the lead too long. Let's talk about Kellen Moore being hired by the New Orleans Saints. It is official. You got to watch his offense, as you mentioned, with your own two eyes there. What do you think about this hire now that the dust has settled?
Logan, going outside of the building is such a great thing, man. Getting away from the Sean Payton tree or even the New Orleans Saints tree of coaches was the right move. So it's time to be a little bit comfortable at being uncomfortable. That's, Mickey Loomis said that the last two off seasons after the season ended. And I think, they did that. I really think, getting a 36-year-old coach who will now be the youngest current head coach in the NFL, who's a young, innovative offensive mind, is what they needed, man. Look, Hunt, they needed a breath of fresh air. They needed something different. They needed to get away from everything that's, happened in the last 3 or 4 years and when they haven't made the playoffs. So, a step in the right direction. I mean, yes, he's not bringing Saquon and Jalen Hurts in the offensive line and Vic Fangio's defense and Vic Fangio. But look, he gets to put his own, fingerprints on this. He gets to build from the bottom to the top and gets to do exactly what he wants with his coaching staff and his player personnel. So this is good. I know like we criticized and we were critical of Mickey Loomis in the interview process when you saw Aaron Glenn and Joe Brady say thanks but no thanks. I'm not coming in for that in-person interview. And maybe it worked out well. Time will tell, but maybe this is meant to be for them to get someone who's a hot name who won a Super Bowl championship over a team that was dominating the league the last 3 years.
You said something in that answer that I want to pin you down on. You said that he's going to have his say in player personnel. In your opinion, how much say did Sean Payton have with this front office? How much say did Dennis Allen have with this front office? And how much say will Kellen Moore have with this front office? Is there a change there, or is it all the same?
Let me be open and honest with you about how things go with the Saints and Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis gave Sean Payton everything he wanted. Mickey Loomis gave Dennis Allen everything he wanted. He wanted Derek Carr, he wanted his coaches, and he let him go get them. I 100% believe that Kellen Moore will get the same type of treatment from Mickey Loomis because that's just how they operate. They give their coaches every chance to win. He gave Dennis Allen every chance to win until Gale stepped in and said, look, it's enough. We got to fire him. It's not working. He gave his coaches every chance for player personnel and coaching staff, NFL draft, to do anything to win. So Kellen Moore is going to get that same respect.
That's a good answer, and I think if that's the case, I have guarded optimism. I think that there needs to be a significant shift in the way the organization is run, and you've seen hints of that over the last 12 months, but we need to see more of it. I guess we'll talk about draft and all that kind of stuff down the road, but the first thing Kellen Moore has got to really do is build his staff out. Do you have any thoughts on the direction, whether or not he'll call plays? If there's a defensive coordinator in mind, do you have any thoughts on what a staff could look like?
Look, I mean, Doug Nussmeier is the first that comes to mind that off that staff and comes with him as his either OC coach and offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach or just one of the two. So I see him. I mean, he was, the tie there. He was there after the game enjoying the Super Bowl title with his family. After the game, Garrett was on the side. We captured him on camera with the entire family. So I think he'd be one name. Saw Adam Schefter tweet Brandon Staley. They worked together in Los Angeles when he was the Chargers OC and Staley was the head coach. He'd bring him on as his defensive coordinator. He's probably the lead candidate to be the DC here in New Orleans. And then everything else is up in the air. I mean, that's, you start there and you let them build from there. But I think those are the two hot names, big names at least. I'm not going to say hot names, but I mean, look, Brandon Staley would be a very good defensive coordinator. I think that's, that's his wheelhouse. He's a good DC. So you bring him in and then boom, that's a start. And you bring in Doug Nussmeier and that's a start. And Kellen Moore's going to call the plays. I mean, Sean Payton calls the plays. He's always called the plays. I think Kellen's not going to just give up his play calling duty as a head coach.
You would think, and we'll see. I'm sure he'll be asked about that when the introductory press conference does, in fact, happen. What do you think the expectation is of Kellen Moore in the short term here? Is there a bit of a runway? Do you feel like there's got to be massive roster overhaul before there can be any expectation? What do you think about what the expectation is for him?
I think the expectation is, look, this is going to be like a slow build. This isn't just going to happen overnight. I mean, it ain't going to be like the Commanders with Jaden Daniels. It isn't going to go from absolutely awful, horrible situation to being one win away from the Super Bowl. This is going to take some time because you're not getting a Jaden Daniels in the NFL draft. You don't have a high enough pick, and even the quarterbacks in this draft aren't that great. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, maybe we don't know something about Jackson Dart, then that might make him good, and they might take a chance with him. And I don't know where, maybe in the second round. But look, they have to build from within the draft. It's going to take some time. Huh? Maybe they have like another down year, 5, 6, 7 win season this year, and then after that, they free up money in the salary cap, and then it gets better and better. He's able to build it in 2 years, and then say by 26 or even 27, they're looking really good and they're contending again. I mean, it's just how it is. The roster is the aging roster. You have some young players, but you have a lot of your key players are in the 30s. So that's just something they have to figure out. Is Derek the quarterback? My opinion is he probably doesn't want Derek as the quarterback, and maybe they have to like live it out for one more year, or maybe they just cut him straight up. He wasn't here during Super Bowl week. We saw no Derek Carr during the entire Super Bowl week, when we saw everybody else here in terms of their team captains. And maybe he had something important going on, maybe a personal situation, but we did not see him. So maybe the writing's on the wall. Maybe they said, hey, don't parade yourself around the city of New Orleans during Super Bowl week because, they're probably going in a different direction. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud. But I just think that he's, it's going to take a year, maybe 2, to clean this up a little bit.
Is there any chance that the team that we saw the first 2 weeks at full strength before McCoy got hurt and then Carr got hurt and then everybody else got hurt is better than we think?
The problem is, Hunt, it's like they always get hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's a big problem.
We can't. It's a big problem every year. Like that's because it's just the roster is just aging. I mean, that's what Father Time does. A lot of your players, it feels like even the young ones are getting hurt too. I mean, it's not sustainable. I mean, like it was great for the first 2 weeks, but we never thought that was going to be sustainable for 17 games. That success is there, but I just don't see it there with this roster for 17 games. It just doesn't. It's not sustainable. They have to make some sort of changes. I mean, you can't re-rack this entire team again this year and tell me that you're going to get the same results from week 1 and 2 for 17 games.
No,
it's not happening because you get hurt.
Just wanted to toss it in there. Sharief, thanks for making some time for us today, man. We'll talk next week.
You got it, Hunt. Anytime, buddy.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, down there in New Orleans. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.